Hello, and welcome to another episode of the 100,000 Reasons for Gratitude. Please join me as we look at life through a lens of happiness. In today's episode, I am grateful for the shedding that allows me to gain more. Most times in life, we tend to not want the shedding phase. According to human time, which we discussed in our previous episode, human time versus God time or divine time. According to human time, you don't necessarily have to release anything in order to gain something else. Rather, according to human time, what you should do is stack things together. Stack them together and keep having them, and you don't have to lose something else. We all understand this narrative because that's how almost the earth works, right? However, according to divine time, we are able, which even nature is a part of. Nature is our best example of what shedding to gain more looks like. The tree has to shed its leaves in order to go through the seasons. It has to shed specifically at autumn so that during winter it's able to survive. It's able to be, and then we know what happens during spring when absolutely fascinating, impeccable leaves and flowers and come out. I mean, how much beauty can nature show us? Even during the preparation phase where animals even go the way to hibernate, or for birds migrating to other places that are good enough, we have to be willing to release, to shed in order to gain more. In order to gain more meaning a different perspective, a different outlook, a different level of abundance, a different level of blessing, a different level of transformation. That's what happens in divine time. And it's not even, the shedding should not be looked at in terms of you're losing something. It's more of you're letting go of the previous things to create space for new things, to create space for the magic. Let's use the analogy of the hand, right? When you are willing to receive something, or you're about to receive something from someone, what happens to the palm of your hand, or generally the whole arm? The first thing you do is you unclench, you relax your hand, you reach forward, you receive. It is the relaxing, the unfolding you receive. When you're doing it quickly, that's not what we call receiving, right? We call it stealing or grabbing. It's no longer receiving. So how often are we not okay with that shedding? How often are we scared of that shedding even? Because it feels like this is new territory. Yes, it's new territory. For the birds that migrate from a place they have known a full season to nowhere, to where their divine bearing will take them, of course it's strange. And remember, we are wired to feel that, oh, why change now? But it's only in that allowing that space is created for the magic to happen. It's only in that release in the letting go that the magic begins to happen, that there's even space for that magic to start. I came across an interesting poem by Rainer Maria Rilke. In this poem, he contemplates the mysticism of God. And a line that fascinated me through a current book I'm reading is how the author highlights a wonderful phrase from that poem. And it's, God's hands are cupped around your becoming. At that point, when there's the release, it could feel lonely, right? It could feel like you're letting go of something, you feel this loneliness almost. But remember this, you're never lonely, you're never alone, you will never be alone. Every single moment of our existence, of my existence, I am cupped around God's hands every single time. Through all the seasons of life, God's hands are cupped around my becoming. Through whichever time, God's hands are cupped around my becoming. But then, it's the allowing that gives room, that creates space. The letting go and the allowing that creates space for the new you, for the becoming. An animation I absolutely love is The Monkey King. And towards the end of the movie, at the point where Butha holds him in his hand, Monkey King tries to run away, right? He tries running away as fast as possible to whichever direction he feels like he can go. But all in all, he's still in the hands of Butha. There's one where he runs up out of space, views the whole solar system and the constellations and everything. He's still in the hands of Butha. He tries every single thing, going everywhere, whichever direction. He's still on the hands of Butha. That's how the divine holds us. We are never too far. He's never even too far. He's closer to us than our hands and feet. That's how close the divine is. And imagine the fact that on top of him being close to you than your hands and your feet, you're literally cupped in his hands. Like, how amazing is that? And it's not just that's how we become bubbles of love. Because you're already in his bubble of love. That's all you become, right? Sometimes the shedding can get as bizarre as possible. However, we are reminded today, God's hands are cupped around your becoming. He's never far, he's never been far, and he will never he'll never be far. As we add on to divine time versus human time, I like this analogy of a tree and the forest. Most times when we look at a forest, we see the completion of it, right? We do not remember that it took individual trees to make that ecosystem called a forest. While from a human point of view, it's more like a tree takes almost 20 years, right? 20 years is a long time. But according to divine time, it's absolutely nothing. It's almost as if it's a day. And then when we see that full forest, the human is like, oh, wow, okay, that was fast. you know, wow, the forest is there. Okay, okay, okay. And then sadly, the people who will say, take it down. But we are not looking at the perspective from divine time. That even that tree to become as tall, as big, as amazing as it is, individually and also to constitute a full forest ecosystem, it started as a seed. And for that seed, it had to shed. Each stage, each growth, be it 1 foot, 1 inch, it had to shed in order to take up the new space. It had to shed to take up the new space. The human body is an example. There's an episode I've done on that, like how magnificent our human bodies are. In a couple of years, your entire self has regenerated. But loss had to happen, shedding had to happen for us to get there. And the body knows this. And it won't even tell you that it had to shed. Most of us don't even know that until maybe we read this information in a scientific journal or a medical journal, or you Google. That's when you're like, oh wow, you want to tell me every day this and this happens, this particular part of my body changes, cells regenerate. You want to tell me that after every 18-hour fast, this is what happens. After 24 hours fast, I can be a whole new, and all those. It's until you give yourself that knowledge that you become aware. Oh, wow, okay. But prior to that, the body doesn't ask you permission for it to shed. It does its job. It knows I'm supposed to do this, to get this, to do this. And if our bodies which are capped in God's becoming allow that, then what about the mind? How can we allow our mind to release, to let go, so that it allows your becoming? It allows the becoming that is you, that is me, that is the next version of you. This particularly hits home because Christmas is coming. New Year is coming. Resolutions are about to begin. And then everyone's ideology is the new year. These are my goals. What if allowing the shedding becomes a goal? What if this period, according to the Catholic calendar, we're going towards Advent? Advent is that preparation period for Jesus being born on Christmas Day, according to the Catholic liturgical calendar. This period of about 4 weeks, you could even extend it and make it 7 weeks even, where you're now starting to analyze, as I move to the new level of me, what do I want to shed? It's not even a must for it to be a new year resolution. It could also be your birthday ritual almost. So that towards your birthday, you're like, as I come to this new year, or the actual new year that is coming, what am I willing to shed in order to gain more? What aspects of myself have I been resisting to shed, that I know the me that is in line with the divine will, the divine me knows very well that if you shed this, your new era is unlocking. Your becoming begins. Your beingness comes to light. What are these areas? I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.